Hi everybody. So I thought I'll just do a video based on the meeting that I had with Fertility Associates the other day. It was a good meeting. I was very nervous and thought they would attack me, and they didn't. They were actually really nice. I met with one lady from there. Yeah, so I'll just go straight into it. You guys asked some questions for me to ask, and I asked a couple of things that I thought about. We're definitely opening to meeting again and that sort of thing, but I just thought I'd give you guys the update. So at the moment the waiting list is now 3 years. That is because of COVID apparently, and it's a 6 months waiting list if you have your own donor. Regarding the financial stuff, some people were saying that you can get $400. Some people are saying, there's all different types of things that people are saying here. Fertility Associates only give $70 per visit, and Repromed is a $75 voucher. It is illegal based on the Heart Act that you can't pay a donor. So that's how it is. They're looking at getting it changed, but of course doing that is opening the doors to serial donors within the private sector. So it is quite a dangerous sort of territory that they feel that they have there. Then there was a lot of there's a lot of hearsay about when you can know who your donor is, etc. So the actual child needs to be 18 years old to find out who their donor is. But the parents of that child can find out from as early as birth. Of course, just be mindful of when your child may be ready. Personally for us, we would only really start talking about the donor and potentially letting the donor sort of maybe meet the kids or something when the kids start to ask questions. While they're growing up now, they understand that they've come from two mums and that they've got soon. I mean, they're only 20 months now, but they'll know that they came from another person. There's some great books and stuff also out there. I should maybe even add those onto the Hapu Helpers website or something, but there's some great books out there. Anyway, so that's to clear that up with how it is. Donors can reach out and ask to meet the recipients, and the recipients can say yes or no, that sort of thing. So there is that option. It doesn't have to be when the child's 18. Sorry, that's my daughter. She's just woken up from her nap with mama. Anyway, so people were saying also questioning about the advertising and all that. I asked them about their advertising, why they're not a little bit more aggressive about their advertising, and they said that they do advertise. They put a lot of money into advertising. Apparently there's billboards and all sorts of things, but radio, that sort of thing. But it's the stuff online is targeted at men, which makes sense. So the only people that can really verify that would be men. So feel free to let me know. But so that's on that. So what they are finding is that there's been an increase in recipients bringing in their own donors. Let me go on this one first. Sorry. So they're finding that there's an increase in clinic donors that are also helping people on Facebook and that sort of thing. So obviously when that happens, there's obviously the 7 families that are being helped with the clinic with that donor. And then there's who knows however many other children they decide to help. So there may be that sort of problem. But what they were saying is that some of these donors are actually going out. They are finding their own recipients and bringing them to the clinic. And the problem with that, they say, is they often have to turn them away, because that donor's sperm gets allocated really quickly to 7 families, because of as soon like it's the supply and demand sort of thing. So if you are a clinic donor bringing in your own recipients, just bear that in mind, that your sperm gets allocated really quickly. And because from a recipient's perspective, we get very excited, we get very like this is happening sort of thing, and then it gives our hopes up. So just be wary of that. So they do have at the moment, they've got recipients coming in with their own donors, which is all good and well. But what that's doing is they have to now balance that with their clinic donors and recipients too. So it's a balancing act, which can extend the waiting times and all that sort of thing. But how they see a way around this, which I kind of see, and it makes sense, is that when a recipient goes in with their own donor, is to allow, between you and your donor, you decide, but you allow the clinic to use some of that sperm to help other families. But when they said that, I was like, my first question, like before anything, was, can they specify how many families to help? And the clinic turned around and said yes. So if you've got your own donor and you go in and you're like, sweet, I'm going to use this donor, and together we've decided that you guys can help 2 other families. The clinic has to abide by that legally. And on top of that is you're helping 2 other people, 2 other families fulfill their dreams, So I understand, I know what it's like being a recipient, and you get your donor and you want that donor all for yourself. You're like, he's mine, he's my donor, and we're only going to have my kids, and that's it, or, that sort of thing. But I've learned over time that there is this massive shortage, and at the end of the day, if everything's done right, your kids will have half siblings that they can like interact with and grow up with, and they can have a community of people that have come from the same sort of situation as they have. I mean, that's obviously all up to you. That is just something that is advised from the donor conceived people and what really they want. Which I think their voices are very important, but that's for another video. So to me, that makes sense. If they've got about, at the moment, so with regards to their waiting lists, it's 3 years. So 3 years means 1,000 people. So if we have 100 people come in with their own donor and allow 2 families or 3 families to also receive sperm, that's 200 to 300 people helped. So it can reduce the clinic times too. So just, I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea. Anyway. Then people were asking about the importing of sperm and why this wasn't happening and all that. Straight away, the answer was like, no questions asked. It was shut down by the health department. So it comes from higher. Okay, and then another question that was asked is, how can the clinics be sure that a donor is being honest about his history? So their genetic test is 289 conditions. I'm getting a list of those 289 conditions, and I'm going to be putting those up on the website. They do rely on the donor to be honest, and they do tell the donor that if he is not honest, that he can be in a lot of trouble. I did ask if they have access to their medical records, and they say no, but it is something that they are looking into. So I don't know. There's that. But yeah, there has been instances where a donor has lied, and apparently there's been some big troubles there. And immediately what happens is when they do find a genetic sort of disorder with a certain sperm, they will withdraw that sperm and cancel the donor off the registry completely. So, it makes sense. They check for 289 conditions. It would cost an absolute arm and a leg to test for all conditions. But yeah, interestingly, when I was speaking to EasyDNA, apparently they're looking into, and I don't know how long, Fertility Associates didn't mention anything about this. This was EasyDNA. They don't know how long it's going to take, but genetic testing can potentially, they're looking at publicly funding that, which is quite cool because they're quite cautious and want to be able to provide that service, because obviously certain things can put pressure on the health system. And the thing is, what donors need to realize and what recipients need to realize is that it doesn't matter if you've got a heart condition, or if you've got problems with your eyesight, or if you've got something. It all depends on the disease. It depends on what you're a carrier of. It depends on what's recessive, etc., etc., etc. When you have a problem with something, I can't even think of an example right now, and your donor's got that same problem, or he's a carrier of that same problem, the chances are you're going to have a child that has got that same problem. So it doesn't make a donor completely void from life if he has a condition. Everyone's got some form of condition. What it does is it will just void from that specific match, and you guys will be able to just find another match for you. So yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of if you're a carrier of something. You know what I mean? Don't be ashamed at all. I do want to try and provide a little bit more of education and information on this, and that is something I'm going to look into. As you guys know, I've been really busy. But yeah, so anyway, let's go to the next thing. They admitted that they could do more, but it's resources and time, more with everything, right? They touched on serial donors. We discussed a couple, and they've basically said from their end that all they get to see and hear is how these serial donors shut the clinics down and all of that sort of thing. And my personal opinion is donors are very important. Not donors. Clinics are still very important. They can help with people with fertility issues that are not not like something that you can handle at home, implementing medication and all that sort of stuff. So clinics are still extremely important. So yeah, there was that. And then the big thing not the big thing, the one question that I asked them is, why is it that all lesbian couples need to have gone through their at-home artificial insemination doesn't count, so they have to go and pay for their own 6 sessions of IUI before they can be considered for publicly funded IVF. And I asked them why. I was to their face, why is this? And they turned around and they said that it's the Ministry of Health's decisions. So that is something that I do want to take up with the Ministry of Health, and also looking into the setup of birth certificates. They're very considerate when it comes to mother and mother. But there's no option for father and father on the birth certificate, or just father, or just mother, or anything like that. So they really need to update all of that sort of thing to make it more LGBTQ plus friendly, and also for single mums and dads. Like they need to actually sort all of that out. So that is going to be my next sort of thing that I'm going to be looking into, plus everything else. But yeah, and I was also thinking of maybe meeting with a couple of other clinics, and seeing what they have to say. I encourage you all. Well, before I go into anything else, so their whole thing, or their message to everyone is, yes, they are a business, but they all work there because they care for you, and because they really want to help you guys. And a lot of people that work there have suffered with infertility themselves. So that's sort of their message to you guys. And then, yeah, I really have a lot that I want to be doing, providing you guys just with so much more information. So if you guys have any sort of questions to add, or things that you want to ask, I do have that point of contact now at Fertility Associates, so I'm happy to get those answers. I've been approached by 2 people with stories that they had from Fertility Associates, and they both are kind of revolved around the LGBTQ community, where it just seems like they're just not friendly at all. So this is for Fertility Associates, and I want to start talking about other clinics. I think we need to be asking these questions. We need to be getting these answers, because no one should be ignored. But so anyway, I'll speak to you later. Hello, Missy. Cheers, guys. Bye.